Welcome back to my channel Coin Hunters and Treasure Seekers. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting mysteries in the world of coin collecting. Hidden inside old jars, forgotten drawers, inherited collections, and everyday pocket change may be coins that carry incredible stories from the past. Many people spend these coins without a second thought, never realizing that they are holding a piece of history that has traveled through decades of American life. In this video, we will explore some of the most fascinating Washington quarters ever released, including historic coins from 1965, 1978, 1984, and other remarkable years that continue to capture the attention of collectors around the world. These quarters may look ordinary at first glance, but each one has its own unique story, its own place in history, and its own reason for being remembered by coin enthusiasts. From the dramatic transition away from silver coinage in 1965, to the heavily circulated quarters that passed through millions of hands during the 1970s and 1980s, these coins witnessed changing times, growing economies, and generations of everyday Americans. Every scratch, every mark, and every sign of wear tells a story about where these coins have been and the people who once carried them. Many collectors dream of discovering a rare variety, an unusual mint error, or a hidden treasure sitting unnoticed among ordinary coins. While most Washington quarters are common circulation pieces, some special examples have become highly desirable because of their rarity, condition, historical importance, or unusual minting characteristics. This possibility keeps collectors searching through coin rolls, family collections, and old change jars year after year. Throughout this video, we will uncover the complete history behind these famous quarters, learn what makes them important, explore the features collectors look for, and reveal why these coins continue to fascinate people decades after they were first struck. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a beginner entering the hobby, or simply someone who enjoys stories of history and discovery, this journey is one you will not want to miss. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure through the world of Washington quarters. Make sure to watch until the end because every coin has a story, every detail matters, and you never know when an ordinary-looking quarter might reveal an extraordinary piece of history. Let's begin our journey and uncover the secrets hidden within these remarkable American coins. Coin number 1. The moment you spot a worn 1978 Washington quarter in an old coin jar, dusty drawer, forgotten piggy bank, or inherited collection, a fascinating question immediately comes to mind. Could this ordinary-looking coin be hiding an extraordinary secret? Throughout the history of coin collecting, countless discoveries have begun with a simple glance at a piece of pocket change. Many collectors have spent years searching through coins, hoping to uncover a rarity that others overlooked. The 1978 Washington quarter is one of those coins that often sparks curiosity because it appears so ordinary, yet it carries a rich story connected to American history, minting technology, and the enduring legacy of George Washington. To truly appreciate the 1978 Washington quarter, we must travel back nearly half a century to the late 1970s. America was experiencing a period of economic challenges, cultural changes, and technological progress. Cars filled the highways, television dominated entertainment, and millions of Americans used coins every day for purchases ranging from newspapers and snacks to bus fares and telephone calls. The quarter was among the most important coins in circulation, constantly moving through the economy and changing hands countless times each year. The Washington quarter itself has a much longer history than many people realize. The design first appeared in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Originally intended as a one-year commemorative issue, the design proved so popular that it became a permanent part of United States coinage. By 1978, the Washington quarter had already served Americans for nearly half a century and had become one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. When examining a 1978 quarter, the first thing most people notice is the portrait of George Washington on the front of the coin. Washington's image symbolizes leadership, determination, sacrifice, and the birth of a new nation. Even on heavily circulated examples, his profile remains visible, though years of wear may have softened many of the finer details. Every scratch mark and worn surface tells a story of decades spent in circulation. The reverse side of the 1978 quarter features the famous heraldic eagle design that appeared on Washington quarters for generations. The eagle stands proudly with wings spread, clutching arrows beneath a wreath. This powerful image represents strength, readiness, and national unity. For millions of Americans, this reverse design became a familiar sight throughout daily life and remains an iconic symbol of classic United States coinage. Many people become excited when they discover that their 1978 quarter has no mint mark. However, this characteristic is completely normal for most Philadelphia mint quarters produced during that period. Unlike many modern coins, Philadelphia quarters of 1978 generally carried no mint mark. Therefore, the absence of a mint mark does not automatically indicate rarity or special value. One of the most common questions collectors ask concerns the copper-colored stripe visible along the edge of many 1978 quarters. Some individuals mistakenly believe that this copper appearance signifies a rare error or unusual variety. In reality, it usually confirms that the coin is a standard copper-nickel clad quarter. The outer layers consist of copper and nickel bonded to pure copper core, which becomes visible when viewing the edge. The story behind this composition change is an important chapter in American monetary history. Prior to 1965, quarters contained 90% silver. Rising silver prices eventually made it impractical to continue producing silver coins for circulation. To address this challenge, the United States Mint adopted a clad composition that reduced production costs while maintaining durability. The 1978 quarter belongs to this modern clad era. Billions of quarters were struck during the 1970s to meet the demands of commerce. The enormous production numbers mean that most 1978 quarters remain relatively common today. Unlike legendary rarities that survive in tiny quantities, the majority of circulated 1978 quarters are readily available to collectors and enthusiasts. Nevertheless, their abundance does not diminish their historical significance. Coin collecting has always been fueled by the excitement of discovery. Every collector dreams of finding something unusual hiding among ordinary coins. While most 1978 quarters are common, certain mint errors, high-grade examples, or unusual varieties can attract significant collector interest. This possibility encourages enthusiasts to examine every detail carefully. One of the greatest attractions of numismatics is the idea that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. Unlike many collectibles that require substantial investments, coins can sometimes be found in circulation, inherited collections, estate sales, or forgotten containers. The thrill of discovery continues to inspire both experienced collectors and newcomers alike. The condition of a coin plays a crucial role in determining its desirability. A heavily circulated quarter may display extensive wear, scratches, contact marks, and faded details. Such coins often possess modest market value but remain historically interesting. In contrast, examples that retain sharp details and minimal wear are generally more desirable to collectors. Professional coin grading has become an essential aspect of modern numismatics. Grading services evaluate a coin's condition using established standards and assign numerical grades that help collectors understand relative quality. A high-grade 1978 quarter can command significantly greater premiums than a heavily worn example because pristine survivors are much scarcer. Mint errors are among the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting. During production, mechanical malfunctions occasionally create unusual coins that differ from standard issues. These errors may include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, doubled features, broad strikes, die cracks, or other distinctive characteristics. Genuine mint errors often attract strong collector demand. Distinguishing between authentic mint errors and ordinary damage requires experience and careful study. Coins frequently acquire scratches, dents, and other imperfections during circulation. These forms of post-mint damage generally do not increase value. True mint errors, however, originate during the manufacturing process and can become highly collectible. Collectors often use magnifying glasses or specialized equipment to inspect coins closely. Under magnification, tiny details become visible that may reveal important clues regarding authenticity, condition, and potential varieties. What appears ordinary at first glance can sometimes display fascinating characteristics upon closer examination. The enduring popularity of the Washington quarter reflects the broader appeal of American coin collecting. Coins serve as miniature historical artifacts that connect people directly to the past. Unlike books or photographs, coins physically participated in history, passing through countless hands and witnessing everyday life across generations. The year 1978 itself occupies an interesting place in American history. The nation was navigating economic uncertainty, rising energy concerns, and changing social trends. Every quarter minted that year entered a society undergoing transformation. Holding a 1978 quarter today provides a tangible connection to that era. Many collectors appreciate worn coins because they display evidence of real-world use. A heavily circulated quarter may have purchased meals, paid bus fares, operated vending machines, or traveled across multiple states. Its worn surfaces serve as a record of decades spent fulfilling its intended purpose. Stories of remarkable coin discoveries have captivated the public for generations. Tales of valuable coins found in pocket change, old collections, or forgotten jars continue to inspire new collectors. Although many stories become exaggerated over time, genuine discoveries do occur and contribute to the excitement of the hobby. One reason coin collecting remains so popular is that it combines history, art, economics, metallurgy, and detective work into a single pursuit. Every coin raises questions about its origin, journey, condition, and significance. The process of seeking answers transforms ordinary objects into fascinating subjects of study. The portrait of George Washington gives the quarter a timeless quality. Washington's role in American history remains central to the nation's identity, and his image has appeared on quarters for generations. His presence on the coin serves as a reminder of leadership, perseverance, and national unity. For beginning collectors, the 1978 quarter offers an excellent educational opportunity. It provides a chance to learn about clad coinage, grading standards, mint marks, die varieties, and the broader history of American currency. Even common coins can serve as valuable teaching tools. Many people hope that a single coin might change their financial future overnight. While ordinary circulated 1978 quarters are not known to be worth millions of dollars, the dream of discovery remains an important part of the collecting experience. The excitement comes not only from potential value but also from the search itself. High-grade examples often generate significant collector interest because relatively few survive without wear. Coins carefully preserved for decades may retain much of their original mint luster and detail. Such pieces offer a glimpse into how the coin appeared when it first left the mint in 1978. The concept of rarity extends beyond simple mintage figures. A coin may have been produced in large numbers yet remain difficult to find in exceptional condition. This relationship between supply, survival, and collector demand helps determine market values across many coin series. As collectors gain experience, they learn to evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, eye appeal, and originality. These factors contribute to a coin's desirability and often influence value more significantly than casual observers realize. The study of these characteristics forms a major part of advanced numismatics. Auction records frequently capture public attention because they demonstrate how much collectors are willing to pay for exceptional coins. While ordinary circulated quarters generally remain affordable, rare errors and extraordinary specimens can achieve impressive results when offered to enthusiastic buyers. The copper-nickel clad composition of the 1978 quarter reflects practical economic decisions made by the United States government. By reducing reliance on precious metals, the mint ensured that coins could continue to circulate efficiently without becoming vulnerable to metal price fluctuations. Collectors often compare coins from different years to identify trends and variations. Such comparisons reveal subtle differences in strike characteristics, die states, and preservation. Through careful observation, collectors develop a deeper appreciation for the complexity of coin production. The journey of a single quarter can be remarkable. A coin minted in Philadelphia during 1978 may have traveled across the country, passed through thousands of transactions, and eventually found its way into a collection decades later. Every surviving coin possesses a unique history that can never be fully reconstructed. Historical coins remind us that everyday objects often outlive the generations that use them. Long after newspapers fade and receipts disappear, coins continue to survive as durable witnesses to the past. Their longevity makes them invaluable tools for preserving historical memory. Many experienced collectors emphasize the importance of knowledge over speculation. Understanding a coin's history, composition, condition, and rarity allows collectors to make informed decisions and appreciate the hobby more deeply. Education remains one of the greatest rewards of numismatics. The Washington quarter has endured through changing economic conditions, technological revolutions, and cultural transformations. Despite these shifts, the coin remains a familiar symbol of American commerce and history. Its continued presence demonstrates the enduring importance of coinage in everyday life. Every collector remembers the excitement of discovering an interesting coin for the first time. Whether the find is rare or common, the experience creates a sense of connection with history. The 1978 quarter continues to inspire that excitement among collectors around the world. As decades pass, surviving examples become historical artifacts that reflect a specific moment in time. The coins minted in 1978 carry the legacy of their era and provide future generations with tangible evidence of America's monetary history. Their significance extends beyond simple monetary value. Ultimately, the true fascination of the 1978 Washington quarter lies not in fantasies of instant wealth, but in the remarkable story it represents. This humble coin connects us to George Washington, the United States Mint, the economic realities of the late 20th century, and the countless individuals who used it throughout its journey. Whether found in circulation, inherited from family, or preserved in a collection, the 1978 quarter remains a genuine piece of American history, whose story continues to captivate collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Coin number 2 looked at a worn 1965 Washington quarter and wondered whether you were holding a forgotten piece of American history. Most people see an old quarter and think nothing of it. They spend it, toss it into a jar, or leave it hidden in a drawer for decades. Yet the 1965 Washington quarter is unlike many other coins that circulated through the United States during the 20th century. It was born during one of the most dramatic changes in American coinage history, a time when rising silver prices threatened the nation's coin supply and forced the government to make a decision that would forever change the coins in every American's pocket. Today, collectors continue to search through old collections, inherited coin boxes, and forgotten piggy banks hopping to find an unusual example of this historic issue. To understand why the 1965 quarter is so important, we must first travel back to the early 1960s. During that period, silver was a critical component of American dimes, quarters, and half dollars. For generations, people had carried coins containing precious metal without giving much thought to their intrinsic value. However, as the market price of silver began to rise, a problem emerged. The metal inside the coins was becoming increasingly valuable, and many people started removing silver coins from circulation. Some saved them as investments while others stored them away as souvenirs. Gradually, the nation's supply of circulating coinage began to shrink. The shortage became so severe that banks struggled to provide enough change for businesses. Grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, and vending machine operators all felt the effects. Everyday commerce depends on a steady supply of coins, and the government recognized that immediate action was necessary. The United States Mint worked tirelessly to increase production, but the silver shortage continued to create challenges. Policymakers eventually realized that a fundamental change in coin composition would be required if the country was going to maintain an adequate supply of circulating money. The solution arrived through the Coinage Act of 1965, one of the most significant pieces of legislation in American numismatic history. This law eliminated silver from dimes and quarters intended for circulation and reduced the silver content of half dollars. For the first time in generations, Americans would carry coins that no longer contained substantial amounts of precious metal. The Washington quarter of 1965 became the first quarter issued under this revolutionary new system, making it a true milestone in United States coinage. At first glance, the new clad quarter looked remarkably similar to its silver predecessor. The familiar portrait of George Washington remained unchanged. The eagle on the reverse still spread its wings proudly above the denomination. Most Americans could not immediately tell the difference, yet beneath the surface everything had changed. Instead of being composed primarily of silver, the new quarter consisted of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to pure copper core. This construction dramatically reduced production costs while preserving durability and appearance. One of the most recognizable characteristics of a circulated 1965 quarter is the copper-colored stripe visible along its edge. This feature immediately distinguishes it from older silver quarters. Collectors often examine the edge first because it reveals the coin's internal composition. While many beginners become excited when they notice the copper layer, believing they have discovered something rare, this appearance is actually normal for most 1965 quarters. The copper core is one of the defining features of the new clad coinage introduced that year. Another unusual aspect of the 1965 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. During the coin shortage, officials worried that collectors were hoarding coins from specific mints. To discourage this practice, the mint temporarily removed mint marks from circulating coinage. As a result, 1965 quarters do not display the familiar letters that normally identify their production facility. This decision created a unique chapter in American coin history and continues to fascinate collectors today. The portrait of George Washington on the obverse carries a deeper meaning than many people realize. Washington had already appeared on the quarter since 1932, when the coin was introduced to commemorate the bicentennial of his birth. His image became a symbol of national unity, leadership, and perseverance. By 1965, Americans had grown accustomed to seeing Washington's profile in their daily lives. The continuation of his portrait during the transition from silver to clad coinage provided a sense of continuity during a period of major change. The reverse design featuring the heraldic eagle also remained unchanged. For decades, this powerful image represented strength, independence, and national pride. The eagle stood as a reminder of the nation's resilience through wars, economic crises, and periods of transformation. Every 1965 quarter carried this symbolism into circulation, connecting millions of Americans to the country's history through a simple piece of pocket change. Although ordinary circulated 1965 quarters are common, collectors pay close attention to the possibility of rare mint errors. Transitional years often produce unusual mistakes because old and new materials may be present in the mint simultaneously. During the shift from silver to clad production, a small number of planchets intended for silver quarters may have remained in the system. If a 1965 quarter was accidentally struck on one of these silver blanks, it would become an extraordinary rarity. Stories of such transitional errors have captivated collectors for decades. The possibility that a rare silver-struck 1965 quarter might still exist in an old collection fuels the imagination of treasure hunters everywhere. While the vast majority of 1965 quarters are standard clad examples, the dream of discovering an unusual specimen keeps collectors searching year after year. This sense of possibility is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such an exciting hobby. The production of 1965 quarters occurred on a massive scale. Hundreds of millions of coins were struck to address the nationwide shortage. Mint employees worked under tremendous pressure to ensure that sufficient coinage reached banks and businesses. Their efforts helped stabilize commerce and restore confidence in the nation's monetary system. Every surviving 1965 quarter serves as a reminder of this extraordinary undertaking. Condition plays a major role in determining a coin's desirability. A heavily circulated quarter may display extensive wear, flattened details, scratches, and contact marks. Such coins typically have modest collector value, yet they remain historically significant. Each mark tells a story about decades of use. A worn quarter may have traveled through countless cities, passed through thousands of hands, and participated in countless transactions before finally finding its way into a collection. Collectors often speak of coins as miniature time capsules. Unlike photographs or documents that simply record history, coins actively participated in it. A 1965 quarter may have purchased a newspaper announcing a major event, paid for a family meal, or rattled around in the pocket of someone witnessing history firsthand. These connections to everyday life give circulated coins a unique appeal. As years passed, the 1965 quarter became increasingly recognized as a landmark issue. It marked the beginning of the modern era of American coinage, an era that continues to this day. Nearly every quarter produced since then has followed the same basic clad composition introduced during that historic year. In many ways, the 1965 quarter changed the future of United States coinage forever. The study of 1965 quarters also teaches important lessons about economics. Rising silver prices forced policymakers to balance tradition with practicality. The decision to eliminate silver from circulating quarters was controversial at the time, yet it ultimately ensured that coinage remained available for everyday commerce. This episode demonstrates how economic realities can influence even the smallest aspects of daily life. Professional grading services have become essential for evaluating potentially valuable coins. When collectors discover an unusual 1965 quarter, experts analyze its weight, composition, strike characteristics, and overall condition. Authentication helps distinguish genuine rarities from ordinary examples and protects both buyers and sellers within the marketplace. One reason the 1965 quarter continues to fascinate collectors is that it combines accessibility with historical importance. Unlike some rare coins that are virtually impossible to find, 1965 quarters remain abundant. Anyone can examine one closely and explore the story behind it. This accessibility makes the coin an excellent starting point for new collectors interested in learning about American numismatics. Every year, people inherit collections assembled by parents, grandparents, and relatives. Hidden among these coins are often several 1965 quarters. While most examples are common, the act of searching creates excitement and curiosity. Collectors know that every coin deserves a careful examination because remarkable discoveries occasionally emerge from the most unexpected places. As decades continue to pass, the 1965 Washington quarter grows increasingly important as a historical artifact. It represents a turning point when the United States adapted to changing economic conditions and reshaped its coinage system. Whether found in worn condition, preserved in a collection, or discovered in an old family coin jar, the 1965 quarter remains one of the most historically significant coins of the modern American era. Its true treasure is not the fantasy of instant riches but the remarkable story it tells about innovation, adaptation, and a nation responding to one of the greatest coin shortages in its history. Coin number 3 looked at an old 1984 D Washington quarter and wondered whether you were holding a forgotten piece of American history. Most people see a worn quarter and think only of its face value. They spend it without hesitation, drop it into a change jar, or leave it hidden in a drawer for years. Yet every coin carries a story, and the 1984 D Washington quarter carries a story that stretches far beyond its 25-cent denomination. It is a coin that traveled through one of the most fascinating decades in modern American history, passing through countless hands while silently witnessing the events that shaped an era. The year 1984 was a remarkable time in the United States. Technology was advancing rapidly, personal computers were becoming more common, and the nation was experiencing significant economic and cultural changes. Millions of Americans carried quarters every day for vending machines, arcade games, pay phones, parking meters, and countless other transactions. The quarter was one of the hardest-working coins in circulation, and the 1984 D issue became part of that daily rhythm of American life. The Washington quarter itself has a proud history dating back to 1932. Originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design became so popular that it remained a permanent fixture of American coinage. By 1984, the Washington quarter had already served the nation for more than 50 years, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in the world. The obverse of the 1984 D quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington facing left. His image represents leadership, courage, and the founding principles of the United States. Even on heavily circulated examples, Washington's profile remains visible, though years of use may have softened the finer details of the design. On the reverse side appears the classic eagle design that defined Washington quarters for generations. The eagle stands proudly with wings spread, symbolizing strength, independence, and national unity. For decades, this powerful image served as a reminder of the ideals upon which the nation was built. One important feature of the 1984 D quarter is the small D mint mark located near Washington's ponytail. This mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions of quarters were produced there during 1984 to meet the demands of commerce across the United States. Collectors often examine the mint mark carefully because mint location can sometimes influence rarity and value. While the 1984 D quarter is generally common, the presence of the Denver mint mark remains an important identifying characteristic that distinguishes it from quarters struck at other facilities. Another feature that frequently attracts attention is the copper-colored stripe visible along the edge of the coin. Many people mistakenly believe this copper appearance signals a rare variety. In reality, it is a normal characteristic of the coin's clad composition. The outer layers consist of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This clad composition was adopted after the removal of silver from circulating quarters during the mid-1960s. Rising silver prices had made traditional silver coinage impractical for everyday use. The clad design allowed the mint to continue producing durable and affordable coins while preserving the familiar appearance Americans expected. The 1984 D quarter belongs to this modern clad era of United States coinage. Although it lacks the precious metal content of earlier silver quarters, it remains historically significant because it represents a period of stability and high-volume coin production during the late 20th century. Most circulated 1984 D quarters show evidence of years or even decades of use. The high points of the design may be worn smooth, and contact marks often cover the surface. Yet these signs of wear tell a fascinating story. Every scratch and mark represents another chapter in the coin's journey through history. Imagine the places a single 1984 D quarter might have traveled. It may have purchased a newspaper, paid for a soda from a vending machine, been exchanged at a baseball stadium, or crossed state lines countless times in the pockets of travelers. Each transaction added another layer to its story. Coin collectors often describe circulated coins as miniature historical artifacts. Unlike museum displays preserved from the moment of creation, circulated coins actively participated in everyday life. They witnessed ordinary moments that collectively shaped history. One reason collectors continue searching through old quarters is the possibility of discovering an unusual mint error. During the minting process, mechanical problems occasionally create coins that differ from standard issues. Such errors can become highly desirable among collectors. Examples of collectible mint errors may include off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other unusual production anomalies. These characteristics help distinguish certain coins from the millions of ordinary examples produced during the same year. The excitement of finding a genuine error coin has fueled the hobby of coin collecting for generations. While the vast majority of 1984 D quarters are standard issues, the possibility of discovering something unusual keeps collectors examining every detail. Condition is another major factor influencing desirability. A heavily worn quarter may have limited collector value, while a sharply preserved example can attract much stronger interest. Coins that survive in exceptional condition become increasingly scarce as the years pass. Professional grading services evaluate coins according to strict standards. These organizations assess surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and overall appearance. Their evaluations help collectors determine relative rarity and establish market values. The history of the Denver Mint adds another layer of interest to the 1984 D quarter. Since opening in the early 20th century, the Denver facility has played a vital role in producing coins for the nation's growing economy. Millions of Americans have handled Denver-minted coins without ever realizing their origin. Throughout the 1980s, the United States Mint worked to ensure a steady supply of coinage for commerce. The quarter remained one of the most heavily used denominations in circulation, making high production numbers essential. The 1984 D issue emerged from this environment of large-scale manufacturing and nationwide distribution. Collectors often enjoy comparing different years of Washington quarters. Subtle differences in strike quality, die wear, and preservation provide insights into the minting process. Even common dates can reveal fascinating details when studied closely. Many people dream of finding a coin worth a fortune. Stories of rare discoveries found in circulation continue to inspire collectors around the world. While ordinary circulated 1984 D quarters are not known to command million-dollar prices, the search for hidden treasures remains one of the hobby's greatest attractions. The true value of coin collecting extends beyond financial gain. Every coin serves as a gateway to history, economics, art, and technology. By studying coins, collectors learn about the forces that shaped nations and influenced daily life across generations. George Washington's portrait provides a direct connection to the earliest years of the United States. His leadership during the Revolutionary War and his service as the nation's first president secured his place among the most influential figures in American history. The quarter bearing his image has become one of the longest-running coin designs ever produced by the United States Mint. Its longevity reflects both the enduring popularity of the design and Washington's lasting importance to the nation. As decades pass, the 1984 D quarter becomes increasingly significant as a historical artifact. Younger generations encounter it as a relic from a different era, while older generations remember using such coins in everyday transactions before the rise of digital payments. The coin also serves as a reminder of how much the world has changed. During 1984, smartphones, online shopping, and digital wallets did not yet exist. Physical coins played a much larger role in daily commerce than they do today. Collectors often find joy in preserving these connections to the past. Each quarter represents a tangible piece of history that can be held, examined, and appreciated. Unlike many historical artifacts, coins remain accessible to people from all walks of life. The durability of the clad composition has helped many 1984 D quarters survive decades of circulation. Even heavily worn examples continue to display their essential design elements, allowing future generations to appreciate their historical significance. Every coin has a journey that can never be fully reconstructed. The people who carried it, the places it traveled, and the events it witnessed are largely unknown, yet this mystery contributes to the fascination of collecting. For some collectors, the greatest thrill lies not in monetary value but in discovery. The simple act of examining an old quarter can reveal details that connect the present to the past. This sense of exploration keeps the hobby vibrant and engaging. As collectors continue searching through rolls of quarters and inherited collections, the 1984 Washington quarter remains a familiar and intriguing presence. Its history reflects broader stories of American commerce, technology, and daily life during the late 20th century. Whether found in pocket change, inherited from a relative, or discovered in an old coin jar, the 1984 Washington quarter stands as more than a simple piece of money. It is a witness to history, a symbol of continuity, and a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. The true treasure of the 1984 Washington quarter is not the promise of instant wealth but the remarkable journey it represents. Through decades of circulation, economic change, and technological progress, this coin has endured as a small yet meaningful piece of American history, continuing to captivate collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Coin number 4. Imagine opening an old wooden box that has not been touched for decades. Dust fills the air as you slowly lift the lid and discover a collection of forgotten coins. Among them sits a worn 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark and a copper-colored edge. At first glance it appears ordinary, perhaps even insignificant. Yet this small piece of metal represents one of the most important turning points in the history of American coinage. While millions of people have handled a 1965 quarter without giving it a second thought, collectors understand that this coin marks the beginning of a new era and tells a story that changed the future of money in the United States forever. The story begins long before 1965. For generations, American quarters were struck from silver. These coins were not only money but also contained precious metal with intrinsic value. People carried them in their pockets, used them in everyday transactions, and rarely considered the metal content hidden beneath their shiny surfaces. Silver quarters became a familiar part of daily life throughout the nation. As the early 1960s unfolded, the price of silver began rising dramatically. This created a serious challenge for the United States government. The silver inside many coins was becoming increasingly valuable, and people started saving them rather than spending them. Some viewed them as investments, while others simply believed silver coins would become collectibles in the future. Regardless of the reason, silver coins slowly disappeared from circulation. The disappearance of silver coinage created a growing crisis. Banks struggled to maintain adequate supplies of coins, businesses experienced shortages, vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers depended on a steady flow of change, yet coins were becoming increasingly difficult to obtain. The nation needed a solution, and it needed one quickly. Government officials and mint experts debated possible answers. Eventually, a decision was reached that would forever transform American coinage. The Coinage Act of 1965 authorized the removal of silver from circulating quarters and dimes. This historic legislation marked the end of an era that had lasted for generations. The 1965 Washington quarter became the first regular-issue quarter produced under this new system. Instead of silver, it was manufactured using layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This construction dramatically reduced production costs while maintaining the durability needed for circulation. To many Americans, the new quarters looked nearly identical to the old silver versions. George Washington still appeared on the front. The familiar eagle remained on the reverse. Most people could not immediately recognize the difference. Yet beneath the surface, a revolution had taken place. One of the easiest ways to identify a 1965 clad quarter is by examining the edge. Unlike silver quarters, which display a solid silver-colored edge, clad quarters reveal a distinctive copper-colored stripe running through the center. This copper layer remains one of the defining characteristics of the coin. Many collectors become excited when they notice the copper-colored edge on a 1965 quarter. Some imagine they have discovered a rare variety. In reality, the copper edge is normal for standard 1965 clad quarters. However, understanding this feature helps collectors appreciate the significance of the coin's historic composition change. Another unusual feature of the 1965 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. During the coin shortage, government officials worried that collectors were hoarding coins from specific mints. To discourage this practice, mint marks were temporarily removed from circulating coinage. As a result, all regular 1965 quarters were produced without mint marks regardless of their minting location. This decision created one of the most distinctive characteristics of the 1965 quarter. Modern collectors often search for mint marks when identifying coins, but with the 1965 issue, the lack of a mint mark is completely normal and historically significant. The portrait of George Washington gives the coin a timeless appearance. Washington had appeared on the quarter since 1932 when the design was introduced to honor the bicentennial of his birth. His image became one of the most recognizable portraits in American coinage history. Even on heavily circulated examples, Washington's profile remains visible. Years of wear may soften details around the hair, cheek, and lettering, but the portrait continues to reflect the leadership and determination associated with America's first president. The reverse design features a majestic eagle with wings spread wide. This powerful image symbolized national strength and independence. For decades, the eagle reverse served as an iconic representation of American coinage and became familiar to generations of citizens. Every worn 1965 quarter tells a story. Some may have traveled across the country, others may have passed through countless cash registers, vending machines, and businesses. Each scratch and mark represents another chapter in the coin's long journey through history. Unlike coins preserved in perfect condition, circulated examples participated directly in everyday life. They purchased groceries, paid tolls, bought newspapers, and exchanged hands thousands of times. Their wear serves as evidence of their active role in American commerce. Collectors often describe coins as miniature time machines. Holding a 1965 quarter creates a direct connection to a transformative moment in United States history. The coin serves as a physical reminder of the economic challenges that reshaped American currency. Because 1965 marked a transitional year, collectors pay close attention to possible mint errors and unusual varieties. During periods of change, mistakes occasionally occur, creating coins that differ dramatically from standard issues. One of the most famous possibilities involves transitional silver errors. During the switch from silver to clad coinage, a small number of silver planchets may have remained in the mint's production equipment. If a 1965 quarter was accidentally struck on one of these silver blanks, it would become an extraordinary rarity. Such transitional errors are among the most desirable modern United States coins. Their rarity stems from the unusual circumstances surrounding their creation. Although extremely uncommon, their existence fuels the excitement surrounding 1965 quarters. Collectors around the world continue searching through old collections hopping to discover one of these elusive treasures. While the odds are very small, the possibility of finding a rare error remains one of the hobby's greatest attractions. The production of 1965 quarters occurred on an enormous scale. Hundreds of millions were struck to alleviate the national coin shortage. The mint worked tirelessly to ensure that enough coins entered circulation to meet public demand. Despite their large numbers, 1965 quarters remain historically significant because they represent a major shift in monetary policy. Few modern coins can claim such a direct connection to an important economic event. Professional grading services play a crucial role in evaluating potentially valuable examples. Experts examine a coin's weight, composition, strike quality, and condition before assigning an official grade. Condition remains one of the most important factors affecting value. A heavily worn quarter generally carries modest collector value, while an exceptionally preserved example may attract much stronger interest. Many beginning collectors start their journey with coins like the 1965 quarter because they are both accessible and historically important. Studying these coins provides valuable lessons about grading, composition, and minting history. The story of the 1965 quarter extends beyond coin collecting. It reflects broader economic realities, demonstrating how rising commodity prices can influence government decisions and reshape everyday life. The removal of silver from circulating coinage was controversial at the time. Some Americans viewed it as the end of a cherished tradition, while others recognized it as a practical solution to a growing crisis. Over the decades, the wisdom of the decision became clear. Clad coinage helped ensure a stable supply of quarters and dimes while reducing dependence on expensive precious metals. Today, nearly every quarter in circulation traces its heritage to the innovations introduced in 1965. The coin serves as the foundation of the modern American quarter series. Collectors continue to examine 1965 quarters with enthusiasm because they symbolize both change and continuity. The familiar Washington design remained, yet the coin's composition transformed completely. As years pass, surviving examples become increasingly meaningful historical artifacts. They preserve evidence of a unique moment when economic necessity reshaped the nation's coinage system. The true fascination of the 1965 quarter does not come from unrealistic dreams of instant wealth. Instead, it comes from understanding the remarkable historical events that created it and appreciating its role in a pivotal chapter of American monetary history. Whether discovered in a family collection, found in a coin jar, or inherited from a relative, the 1965 Washington quarter remains one of the most important modern American coins. It stands as a witness to change, a symbol of adaptation, and a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking coin can carry an extraordinary story that continues to captivate collectors and historians around the world.